In this video, I'm giving you 5 more ways you're damaging your hair without realizing it. And why do I say 5 more? Because this is part 2 to my first video I put out, 5 ways you're damaging your hair without realizing it. And it's been a year since I published it, so we're making an updated list because I'm a little older and I'm a little wiser.
A year has passed. I'm a little older. I'm a little wiser.
The first way is the pH level in your shampoo is too high. So in another video where I talk about why your hair could be dry or damaged or frizzy, I go into the deep science behind like what is pH, what causes the static charge on your hair to change, what is your isoelectric point, and all things like that. So if you want a deeper chemistry explanation, go watch that video linked below. But there are 2 things to know about hair. Number 1, hair carries an electrical charge, which if you've ever touched one of those Van de Graaff generators at museums and your hair raises up, you can understand that your hair does carry an electrical charge. Number 2, your scalp and your hair shaft do have a certain pH level. Now your hair's pH level is around 4 or 3.67 to be exact, and your scalp has a pH level of around 5.5. So it may be acidic on the pH scale, relative to where water is, which is neutral, it's 7, but the isoelectric point for untreated hair is between 4 and 5.5. What this means is that any products that you use that are more alkaline than 4 to 5.5 will increase that static charge on your hair and causing it to be more frizzy. So a study was done in September 2014 to measure how shampoo pH can affect your hair and if this is like a myth or a reality. The study's conclusion was, and I'm quoting here, an alkaline pH relative to your hair may increase the negative electrical charge of the hair fiber surface and therefore increase friction between the fibers. This could lead to cuticle damage or fiber breakage. It is a reality and not a myth that the lower pH of shampoos may cause less frizzing for generating less negative static electricity on the fiber surface. It did go on to say that it's still up for debate what pH range is ideal for shampoos and that pH levels are not required to be put on the bottles. So what this means is that anything you put in your hair, shampoo, conditioner, leave-ins, treatments that are above your hair's isoelectric point will create that net negative electrical charge. And when there's an increase in the alkalinity of the hair compared to its isoelectric point, this can cause flyaways, it can cause frizz, tangles, it can increase the friction between the fibers, which could lead to cuticle damage, high porosity hair breakage, things like that. So since the hair and scalp pH ranges are a little bit different, the pH level of hair is around 3.67 and your scalp is around 5.5, there's no agreed upon value for the final pH level of shampoos and conditioners. What's the best, right? Even water at a pH of 7 can create a net negative charge. However, cosmetic chemists who formulate shampoos and conditioners, they do know this and they do put in cationic and non-ionic compounds to take into account the change in pH when it mixes with water in the shower. I've also read a few articles making the argument that a pH level right between your hair and scalp is ideal. So something between 4.5 to 5. So this is still up for debate. But the same study that I mentioned earlier went on to say that only about 38% of name brand shampoos have a pH level under 5. So if you're buying really big name labels or something from the drugstore, something created for the masses versus created for your hair type, chances are your shampoo is too alkaline and could cause fiber friction. If you do think your hair the pH is way out of balance, an at-home solution you can try is an apple cider vinegar mix, which has a pH of 3. This can potentially balance your hair and your scalp back out. You can try using 1 part apple cider vinegar, 4 parts water. The water obviously will raise the pH a little bit, but the dilution will help protect your scalp against irritation because, a pH level of 3 could cause some irritation. So this can help bring your hair back down to its neutral isoelectric point, hopefully get rid of some frizz or any breakage that you're dealing with. All right, moving on. The second way you could be damaging your hair is by using the wrong products for your hair type. So most guys aren't even aware that they need to know what their hair type is, but this is the single most important thing you can do when it comes to picking the right products. So in part 1 of this video, I gave a tip that was basically saying you're damaging your hair by using using sulfates. Using the wrong shampoo, and this is shampoo that contains sulfates. What I should have said is you're damaging your hair by using the wrong products for your hair type. Because yes, sulfates are very powerful surfactants and they can cause damage in some people's hair, but they're not always bad. And it just comes down to what your hair type is. So if a sulfate is formulated correctly in the proper percentages, the proper surrounding ingredients, and it's good for your hair type, it can actually do wonders for your hair. For example, if someone has naturally greasy scalp and struggles with oil buildup all the time, a clarifying shampoo with a sulfate can be a great tool. Additionally, if you use heavy silicone products, a sulfate can also help get rid of some of that buildup as well. So there is a time and a place for them. But on the flip side, if you have a naturally dry scalp or you struggle with dry hair, a sulfate could be way too powerful. It could cause dry scalp flakes, it could cause contact dermatitis, some irritation, could dry your hair out too much. The point is figure out what your hair type is and use that information to shop for the right products. How can you do that? This is the reason that I built my Mannered Mains app. You can discover your hair type in 1 minute with our really fast hair type quiz. You can also discover a community of people who share your hair type, and you can see what products they're using. You can see the products' ingredients, and you can shop for them directly on the app as well. You can download Mannered Mains on the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store for free. The third way you could be damaging your hair is hard water buildup. So what is hard water? Well, the USGS defines it as water with an excess amount of dissolved calcium and magnesium. So you can tell if your water is hard if you start seeing soap scum on your glass dishes after tons of washes. Sometimes you can feel like a film on your hands even after you've used soap. This is kind of like hard water. So imagine that buildup happening on your hair when you shower, right? So there's a 2016 study that I read that scanned hair treated with hard water through electron microscopy for 30 days. And the results were, and I'm quoting here, the surface of hard water treated hair had a ruffled appearance, meaning dull or didn't have any shine. It had decreased thickness when compared with the surface of distilled water treated hair. There is another 2016 study that measured hair treated with hard water versus deionized water in 76 males from Pakistan. The results showed that the tensile strength of hair, basically the elasticity, was significantly reduced in hair treated with hard water as compared to hair treated with deionized water. So not only can hard water take away the brightness and the shine from your hair, it can also weaken it as well, leading to breakage. So what can you do about it? Well, a clarifying shampoo, again with the sulfate, might be a good idea if you think your hair has hard water buildup. But one thing that I also did was I just got a shower filter that attaches to my shower head. It's about 30 bucks from Amazon. This helps remove the calcium, magnesium. It even helps remove chlorine, heavy metals, just things that your tap water might carry that you want to filter out. It also helps balance the pH of water too. I definitely noticed the difference in the shine of my hair since using it. It's increased quite a bit after about a month of having it installed. The fourth way you could be damaging your hair is through using heat tools incorrectly. Now, again, in the part 1 of this series of how you're damaging your hair, I referenced a study that showed that air drying damaged the cortex the most because your hair stays swollen, the cortex stays swollen for much longer, resulting in more protein loss. And that study mentioned that blow drying is actually healthier for your hair, but obviously this only works if you use the heat tool, the blow dryer, correctly, because you can still do damage to your hair, especially the outer part of your hair where the cuticle is, with heat tools. So how do you do that? The first thing you want to do is use a heat protectant. I'm going to link to some of my favorite ones in the description. Next, you want to set the blow dryer to the lowest heat setting and keep it about 6 inches away from your hair and constantly move it around. Now let's address sort of the hair type elephant in the room, right? Because not every hair type can use a blow dryer. Mainly I'm looking at you guys, curly hairs. For my curly hair brothers, what you can do is use a diffuser attachment. This is like a plastic attachment you can put on the nose of your blow dryer, and it works by spreading the airstream over a wider area in a more controlled way. And diffusers are great for curly hair types, wavy hair types, because it can help keep your natural curl pattern and spread out the heat really well. So this is another great option for you guys, so you're not putting direct heat on like one specific part of your hair, which can break your curl pattern. So the fifth way that you could be damaging your hair is through cationic buildup, and this is also known as over conditioning. So the main ingredient in a conditioner that adds slip and shine is a cationic surfactant. So this is ingredients like benzhydramonium chloride, cetrimonium chloride, or benzhydramonium methosulfate. So since your hair has a net negative charge and the cation has a net positive charge, it binds to your hair shaft really, really well, and it helps seal those cuticles down. It helps add slip, add shine, lock in that hydration, all that moisturizing goodness. But they're actually more binding to your hair than silicones are, believe it or not. So when someone asks me if they should condition their hair every single day because they don't shampoo daily, then I would advise them not to do that, because it could potentially lead to cationic buildup, which basically just weighs your hair down, making it flat, dull, lifeless. And if you think that you are suffering from cationic buildup, I would advise, again, clarifying shampoo and not daily conditioning. I would even go so far as not adding like a daily leave-in conditioner that contains a cationic surfactant. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Catch you guys on the flippity flip. Flip. Flippity flip.
Really?